a shoulder, like the rotator cuff. So many people have shoulder injuries. I'm going to show you some simple things you can do at home. And then also for the wrist, okay, wrist recovery. How many people have or have had any kind of pain in the wrist at any time? I know I have. So, sometimes it's, because you're doing some body weight exercises, or maybe you just push against something and, you don't have the flexibility or range of motion in your wrist, and your forearms are not strong or stretched or whatever it is, the muscles in the forearm. And so, therefore, you either have pain or have an injury or something like that. And we're going to talk about that. So thanks so much for being here. I appreciate you. And please, if you're watching the replay, give me a hashtag replay. And you can also leave comments. You can leave comments live. So please say hi. Let me know you're here. Let me know if you have ever had either a shoulder or wrist issue. So just let me know, or maybe both. And thanks for coming on. So please subscribe. If you're watching from another app, we are live over on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook page, and then also, of course, right here on HAP. So please download the HAPS app and come join us. It's a lot of fun. Hey, Pablo, what is going on? So I know that you're very active. Let me know if you've ever had any kind of wrist or shoulder issues. So many people do, guys, just from our activities of daily living. It might be that you were reaching back to grab something, and then all of a sudden you feel a pain in your shoulder. Maybe you were reaching up, and then you had, or maybe you were actively playing a sport or doing something, and you now have a shoulder injury. Super, super common. And maybe you had an accident. I know sometimes people, fall, and then it's like, next thing you know, you're having a rotator cuff surgery. So these exercises are going to help if you have had an issue, and then also going to help to prevent. And that's mainly what we want to do. We want to do prehab so that we don't have to do rehab. And then with the wrists are really another joint, and just like the ankle, that if we kind of go the wrong way, okay, so this joint moves in all different ranges of motion, okay? So a lot of small bones here in the wrist. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. We're doing a lot of stuff with our fingers all the time. We've got to strengthen the forearms. We have a lot of muscles. I'm not going to go into all the detail, but several muscles in the forearm that flex and extend, and the wrist. So if you do like this, just grab your forearm and then move your wrist in different directions, and you'll feel the muscles in there working. So we got to make those strong, guys. It's something we neglect. Hey, Fred, what is going on? Wrist because of the bike. Yeah, and thanks for joining, Pablo from LA. And I'm so glad to see you, Fred. I see you over on Twitter. I'm glad that we're connected, guys. And that's what's so awesome about HAPS, is that you can stream to locations and destinations and follow people from all over different places. So please come and join us on HAPS and subscribe. So let's talk, since we do have a question about the wrist, I'm going to start with the wrist. And then if somebody pops in and wants to see something with the shoulder, especially for the rotator cuff, then let me know. But I had the same thing at one time, Pablo, with riding the bike, because I was doing a lot of body weight exercises like this, okay? So a lot of times people don't have the range of motion to do that. And then I started having a little bit of carpal tunnel, and so then riding the bike was hard, just even with that pressure. So it's really important to, first of all, think about, just like we do with the rest of the body, massage in the forearms. Okay, so massage in the forearms is a really good thing to do. See if you feel any pressure points or tender spots in different locations. I encourage you to make a ball with your fist, and then you can see the forearm muscles, and then just see if you find some tender spots there. Another thing that you can do if you do want to do some kind of a massage at home, just get your foam roller or something and try this, okay? Just like you see me roll other parts of the body, you can do that on the forearms. And you might be able to, I've seen people with a PVC pipe and they had it across a table where they were able to actually stand up and do this, okay? So that's another thing that you can do, okay? So massage, so those are two things. Thank you for the award. I appreciate it. Hey, Heavenly Dude, what is going on? My Dallas friend, thanks so much for coming in. So check this out, though. What you want to do is you want to strengthen the forearms. So I recommend probably that you look at something like this. This is a Theraband Flex Bar, and this is the medium intensity. So they have the different intensities, just like all the bands. Okay, this is a light band. This is a Spry brand, and it's yellow. That's the lightest band. That's what I'm going to do some rotator cuff exercises with. But this Theraband Flex Bar is really great, guys, for working the forearms. So check out the different things you can do. So you're doing like a ringing motion. Like if you had a wet towel, you can do that too. Grab yourself a towel and, wet it down and then wring it out. So you can see how the forearm muscles are working. Okay, so I'm twisting, and then I'm going to go even with the opposite direction, so right now I'm kind of leading with that right arm, like that. Then I'm going to go like this, left arm. And I'm twisting with both, but just mainly the one that's I'm kind of twisting first is the one that seems to be working harder. So the left I can feel is weaker. I'm not surprised about that. Okay, so this is what I'm going to go back this way. I'm going to show you some more. So you can do this with a towel, but you can see how each time I do this, it's working those forearm muscles. And guys, look, if you have any kind of hand issues, especially think about the fact that we're constantly doing stuff on the phone, move your fingers. When you move your fingers, if you can see, you have the muscles in your forearms are moving, okay? So these are controlling our fingers. So again, strong forearms is really important, and it's a muscle, an area that we overlook, and I even overlook, okay? I'm doing a lot for the bicep. Yes, the forearm gets some, but I'm mainly focused on the bicep, right? We don't do, yes, you can do wrist curls. And you do see people sometimes at the gym or something doing wrist curls. And that's okay, but then you're going back and forth with the wrist, maybe lifting a weight. And that isn't always good if you have wrist pain. So that's why I find that this Thera stick, or what did I call it? Flex bar. It is Theraband, but it's Flex Bar. PerformanceHealth.com, or you can probably find it on Amazon or something like that, or wherever you like to shop, but probably not in your local store. Maybe not even in your local Dick's or something, may not even have this. So again, this is kind of a specialty thing. Now check it out. The next one, and this works really good, guys, is you're just shaking it. So see, it's obviously bendable. So when I do like this, you can see how the forearm is working. See that? So that's going to help, and I'm keeping my wrist straight. So that's going to help strengthen the forearm and the wrist. Okay? Because you want your wrist to be strong and flexible, but for you to be able to control it while you're doing different activities or doing different ranges of motion. So you can go forward and back, and then you can go side to side. Okay? Yeah, so gosh, I really feel this. So I was going to go out in the pool today, but I don't know how I'm going to get that set up with the video. I'll have to see and show you guys how you can do a pool workout. So it's a lot of fun. But I need to do these rotator exercises, and I need to do these forearm exercises. So I thought, surely there's somebody on here that could use this. So again, you can feel it. feel it really, I can really feel my forearm is burning. I mean, it's just really, you can see, okay, the muscles are fine. And so, and then side to side, okay, side to side. Oh, it's fatiguing, okay? So I'm going to have to make sure I do all this on the other side. Let me show you another one. Twirling, 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 okay? Oh, gosh. Wow. Yeah, really, really feel it. And then the opposite direction. So try to do, and when you order one of these, if you do decide to get something like this, they have some exercises there. Now I feel pumped. My forearm feels pumped. Check it out. Yes. Okay, the muscles are definitely feeling kind of pumped up and fatigued right now. And then you can also do things like this where you're bending. Um, let's see, there's some other ones where you put this on the floor. Let me scoot back. You put this on the floor and then you press down. And that one doesn't work very good. Let's see. I think you do it like this. Okay. Or you can even hold it. No, you can't hold it like that. Sometimes you might see those hand grippers. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Where you squeeze together. They're like, you know, like if you have like a jumper cable and you have to squeeze it, and then anyway, those are okay, but that starts to bother my hand. Now it does work the forearm, but I found that those kind of bother my hand. And if you need something that's similar but still a little bit easier, you can get some of this putty. I was gonna say Play-Doh, but a client gave this to me. Hey, Stacy, what is going on? So good to see you. Thanks for jumping on and saying hello. So check this out. This is the putty. This is like therapy, and this is really good for people that have had like carpal tunnel or any kind of wrist surgery. So you just take the putty in your hand and you just keep pressing it, and you press on it like this. All of this stuff will help your forearms, which will then help your wrist. Okay, so yeah. So let me know what you guys think so far. Let's do a little bit with this one on the other side and see if I can think of some other exercises. Which one was I doing first? This one? No? I can't remember. Oh, I was doing the ringing. Yeah, let me do that again, the ringing. So I'm twisting. I'm mainly twisting with my left hand. Twist, twist, twist. And then I'm going to go the opposite direction, twist, mainly using the opposite hand. So it would be, maybe you're right. I'm not sure if you're seeing me. Which direction? There we go. So now I'm going to go, I'll go to this one. So here we are again. And it's a little harder on this side, a little harder for me with the coordination and everything in the left hand because I'm right dominant. So this feels a little more challenging. Man, this wrist is fatigued. Stay around. I'm going to show you some quick stretches too, because I can tell that forearm is tight. I need to get on this. I've not been good about this, that's for sure. Okay? It's kind of like one of those things where you have an issue and then you kind of forget about it until it comes back, right? So, you can also, if you're having a lot of problems, like with your wrist or something, this is getting really hard this direction. Wow. Oh my gosh, I'm really fatiguing fast. You can wear a little brace for a while. If you need to keep your wrist straight for a while, but you know, you're not going to have the same grip like on a bike or whatever, but I had to wear a little kind of a splint brace for a while with the carpal tunnel because that was really helping to just relieve that compression on the nerves. So there's a lot of bones, guys, in the hands and, of course, the feet, too, and the wrist. So you got to think about that. So we got to strengthen the muscles that control the wrist and the hands because we want to be strong. How many people do you know that, you know, maybe have broken a wrist or, you know, they fall or something and break a wrist or or do something and have an issue with their wrist. So, or some kind of repetitive movement. So you got to think about all those things. Okay, so now we've got this. This I don't feel very much since I'm using both hands. Thinking there was something else. Okay, did I do the, yeah, no, I don't think I did that one on the side. Oh wow, yeah, this one is killer. Oh, I feel really uncoordinated with this. So you could set a timer and, you know, we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then maybe go back and do the other arm and just keep going, okay? Because, wow, yeah. Woo! I can tell I haven't been doing it, that's for sure. So let's look at some wrist stretches real quick. So I feel that tightened up in the forearm. So it's good to try to do a little bit of range of motion here. So you just want to be real careful and just kind of put a little bit of pressure on the top of your hand and bend it through. You may not have that much range of motion. That's okay. Work within whatever range of motion you have. And then, of course, the other direction, you can go here. And then, you know, if you're here, that's okay. Work within a pain-free range of motion. Pain-free range of motion. You can put your hands on a countertop and then try to get them more into, you know, where the heel of the hand is going flat onto the countertop, and then you're at more of a 90-degree angle or so. But just work on that. Work on opening up the hand like this and flexing at the wrist. Or this is actually hyperextension, sorry. Hyperextension. This would be flexion. Okay, like this. So, and then here. And also, I encourage people, you know, open up that thumb, because the thumb really wants to curl in like this, okay? It wants to flex in, and that's from all the stuff that we do. So try to open up that thumb as well. Okay, and then other side. But there's another really good one. I'm going to show you this. It's a little, let me see if I can just show you, and then, so this really stretches the thumb really well. So what you do is you cross over, see what I'm doing here, like this, so elbows kind of stacked, and then I'm going to reach over, and I'm going to grab my thumb. Oh, wow. Talk about a stretch right here through the thumb, okay? A lot of people have this, oh, I just forgot about what the joint is called, problems with the thumb joint, and I have to watch that too. So just from a lot of gripping, weightlifting, right here in the base of the thumb, okay, base of the thumb, just really hurts, that stretch. Let me look at this, because this is driving me crazy. I got all these pictures of the hand. It's right, trapezoid. Let me think. Well, anyway, let me show you the stretch again, and maybe I can think about it. But yeah, but you want your thumb to be really functioning well, right? So we cross over, and then I'm pulling. I grab with this hand, I grab my thumb, and then let the hand open up, and then feel the stretch in the thumb. So I'll show you from kind of a side view what it looks like. See? Oh man, I mean this I haven't done this in a while, and I did it yesterday, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's unbelievable. I don't know how it feels for you, but I have some pain sometimes right here at the base of the thumb. I mean, I just feel like I'd like to have an injection of something in there right now, like a steroid or something. It just hurts, but it's not that bad. But yeah, so try that stretch, and then of course on the other side, okay, same thing. So here, and then this side, that's pretty intense too. So, yeah. Okay. So with this putty, wherever you put it, it's going to start to mold to whatever you set it on. So try to keep it in your container if you get that, because you can see it already has the print of the gym mat on the putty. So just don't put it on something that you might not want it to stick to. And then doing this in the opposite hand is also really good for the thumb, okay? Because you may be having not only wrist problems, but also that base of the thumb. And it's real common. Okay, so hopefully these were helpful. And then also with stretching, we've got flexion and extension of the wrist, but then we also have lateral flexion and extension, or abduction and adduction. So you want to think about how the wrist can move side to side, right? I'm going to show you this way, side to side. Okay, so radial and ulnar flexion. Okay, radial and ulnar flexion. And then we've got circumduction. So you want to make sure, that you just keep good range of motion, not only in the wrist, but in all the joints. Okay, all the joints of the body. And just so happens that the wrist, the shoulder, circumduction, flexion, extension, abduction, adduction, so many different hyperextension. So there's so many different ranges of movement that the shoulder will perform. That's why it's easy to get injured, just like the hips, and then also the wrist, the ankles. So our knee only goes here, right? So hopefully our knee isn't gonna. Hopefully the lower leg isn't gonna come out here. If it tries to, then that's when we have a ACL tear or a meniscus or some kind of ligament becomes strained and we have a problem, right? So joints, this is a hinge joint, and this is a joint that moves in all different ranges of motion, and so that is putting it at more of a compromise. So let me move on. So this is really cool. I'm going to go to the shoulder. I'm going to get a drink of water. But again, let me know if this is helpful. Let me know what you think about this, guys. I probably should do more myself, but I will move on right now, so for the sake of time, so that you guys can see some more exercises. So you may have seen me do some of these before with the band for the shoulder, but one of the number one exercises for rotator cuff, rehab, prehab, is doing your external rotation. So if you have your band, if you have the door attachment set up, then you won't have to hold it like I am here, and you can just do your internal and external rotation. But if you don't have that, then you can do what I'm doing here, and you can just hold on to it, and then you come across at the navel level. So just have your elbow in towards the waist, and then you externally rotate, and then kind of resist as it comes back in. So this is external rotation. You can do internal rotation, but you either need the door attachment or someone else over here holding the band, because you have to use that arm. So anyway, so this is really beneficial, specifically because this rotator cuff muscle takes the most stress and gets injured a lot for people. And you want a band that's not too heavy. This is a very light band. It's better to do endurance and do more repetitions than try to make it like too intense. So you can move to the other side and do the same thing. You could hold the band in at your hip if you wanted, but I kind of like to hold it out here a little bit because it kind of pulls better as I'm pulling like across like this. Okay. You can do this same movement standing, even with some light weights. And then I will show you how to do an exercise on the floor with a weight or a can. Guys, you don't need much weight on these. Go to your kitchen and grab you a can of beans or whatever you have, or a bottle of water, a water bottle. I tell my clients anywhere from 2, 3, not even over 5 pounds for the rotator cuff exercise, maybe even 1 pound. And then sometimes I'll have them do a set of so many, maybe 15 or so reps, and then they just drop the weight, and they're still performing this movement, and they still feel it. Okay, so that's how how intense it can be. So that's your external rotation. So let's do another exercise that is going to really help work the rotator cuff and the shoulder too. So instead of doing like a lateral raise out to the side, I'm going to choke in on the band, and I'm going to grab it just below the handle at kind of the little knob, and I have my thumb pointed up, and then I'm going to lift, and I'm going like I'm making a V with my arms. So imagine I'm making a V. I'm not coming out here. I'm making a V, so it's kind of like a diagonal forward and then back down. So you just do one arm. You could do both at the same time. Whoa. Okay. You almost witnessed live. That's what's fun about live. That could have popped me right in the face. So be careful with your bands, guys. Be careful with the bands, because that really seemed like it was coming right up towards my mouth, actually. Okay, so thumbs are up, and then we're doing both at the same time. Okay, and then just standing up tall, just like you're doing a resistance exercise. You can do this with weights too. Standing on one end of the band, 1 foot, so the band isn't quite as tight. It will be tighter if I am here. It's a little bit tighter with both feet on the band, so you decide. Okay, and I know some of these exercises take a little bit of time, to get the rotator cuff in, and some of these, the forearm, you don't really feel like you're doing much, but if you are having issues, you definitely need to start, and it's a good idea to think about it with your weight training. Another thing you can do for the forearms that I just thought about with weights or with the bands, and you may do something like this already, is palms down and then curl. So when you're doing it this way, just like if I have a weight, it's working the forearms a little more. So if I have the weight down by my side and then I curl up like this, see, it's working more here. Then if I'm here, you're getting more here and some here, but again, we want to do some specific exercises for isolating the muscles so that we get the most benefit. Okay, so that was the V with the thumbs up. Now let's get to one that's real helpful for this, hey, reaching back, right? So let's say, and it could be something simple too, like reaching back and grabbing your seatbelt, right? Grabbing your seatbelt and putting the seatbelt on, and then you hurt your shoulder. Or how many of you have ever reached into your back seat to grab a piece of paper or something that doesn't even weigh anything, and it's just that reach and that range of motion that you're just like, oh man, I just felt my shoulder or something. So this one will really help with that. So we're going to stand on the band, and then I'm going to take the handle, or I could use let's see, you can use the handle, or you can use the thumb, and then we're going back. So see, thumbs up, and then go over. I kind of like this one a little bit better than using the handle. If you wanted to use the handle, you could hold the handle here. Just try to let the handle move so that the thumb is up, and you're still doing it that way. Okay, but I think this works better. So thumbs up, thumb, and then like hitchhike. I've heard that before. Hitchhike. Okay, if anybody hitchhikes anymore, I don't know. I don't recommend it, but all right, I feel it kind of popping as I'm doing this. I'm going to go ahead and make it a little bit looser, because this is the shoulder I kind of felt a couple of days ago, and I was like, oh man, got to get back on some of these specific rotator cuff exercises so that I can make sure not to do anything that creates an injury. Okay, so I really feel this fatiguing. I'm wanting to rotate. Look at that. Oh, and you could do that. You could add a little rotation. Let's do 4 more. 4, 3. Oh my goodness. 2. Oh, yikes. Wow. That got kind of intense. Right. Okay. Thanks, guys, for hanging in. I'm going to be on here just a few more minutes, and then we will be hopping off. So go ahead and put in any questions that you have. I'm going to switch to this opposite side and do that same over the shoulder. So kind of like an over the shoulder. Thumb is pointing up. I'm starting at the opposite hip and going over the opposite shoulder. And then you can even look back. If you want to do that kind of range of motion, look back. These are exercises maybe you could do if you're watching TV, or maybe you're watching some other live streams. Watching a live stream, do some exercises, chat in the conversation a little bit, do a few more, because, you know, it just takes time. It's just like stopping and stretching or whatever. They're not super hard to do. It's not like I'm sweating, and I mean, they are working, but it's not totally exerting yourself. It's just something that, and sometimes we feel like we're not exercising unless we are really exerting ourselves. And I understand that, but just think about some time that you could take even 10 or 15 minutes and do some things like this that would really help you to feel more stable in your joints, because we want to feel stable. We want to feel strong, but we want to feel stable first. You want your joint to be stable, and we want to strengthen it, and we want it to be flexible as well, okay, depending on which joint it is, right? Not every joint we want to be real flexible, but we need our wrists, we need our shoulders to be flexible, have a lot of good range of motion, but be stable within all these different ranges of motion. So that's the key. Now, lastly, I'm going to show you probably the most popular also rotator cuff exercise. We'll do the external rotation on the floor. So I'm going to grab a 2-pound, and this is the one that you can use like a can or something if you want to, and that is going to be this one. So we're just going here, and it's similar to the standing, but because the resistance is pulling down, it's a little bit different. So I encourage you to do both of them. Maybe if you have a hard time getting down on the floor, go on your bed. Go on your couch. You don't need to be specifically down on the floor. You just need to be on your side. Keep the elbow in at the waist, and then you're going to drop the weight down towards the floor, and then you're going to come back up. Now, your range of motion may be about right here. That's okay. Then come back down. What you don't want to do is you don't want to start lifting up real high at the elbow so that you can lift it up high back here. Okay? Because you don't want to rotate your body like that. Everybody's going to have different range of motion right here. And that's another thing that you can work on is creating more range of motion for the rotator cuff. And we'll finish shortly with a stretch. So here's you another one. And then, of course, you would do the opposite side. And I think what I'm going to do is show you another one that you could do. And that would be sitting at a table with your arm on the table and then doing this one. You may have seen this one as well. So this is also an external rotation, but you just have the arm away from the body, or abducted away from the shoulder is not, the arm is not in towards your body, you're just here, okay? So you've gone to like a lateral raise, a shoulder abduction, and then an external rotation. And then you may be right here. The range of motion, you may be, oh, that's it, or you may have pain right there. You need to stop at that range of motion where you might start to feel that pain. And then if you want to, just like on the floor, you could drop the weight and then still just keep going right here. And you may feel that a lot. You may be shocked at how much you feel it, especially after you were holding a weight and performing a certain amount of reps, and then you drop it, and then you're here. Okay? So that is another one. So let's quickly end with some stretches. So I showed you this really good thumb stretch, and I'm going to try that again. Feels a little bit better already since I've done it a couple of times today, once I thought about it again. So that's a great one. And then let's do a rotator cuff stretch. And I like to really do the hand behind the back because it's simple. Try it. If you have a strap or a band, or even a towel, or a yoga strap works even better. So let me grab the yoga strap. All you're going to do is hold the strap up and then try to grab it with the opposite hand. Oop. And then kind of pull up. Or you could hold it down here. I actually saw this, saw it perform this way, where you're trying to slide. Okay, see, I'm trying to pull the hand up a little higher. Pull the hand up a little higher, and then let it come back down, and then pull a little bit higher. So you could do that one, or you could just hold, or you could hold with the hand up, and then pull up on the hand. So I'm taking this hand and I'm kind of pushing up and making my hand behind my back crawl higher up on my back, and I really feel it right here. Now, look at the difference. Let's see if I have a difference in range of motion, because I'm pretty sure I do. So you can see that's as far as I can get my hand up here, okay? And then let's see how I am. So come out of this one carefully, because this muscle will be tighter than you think. And I know I'm tight on that left side, so be careful with that. And then let's go to the opposite arm. So I'm here, and I take, okay? And so you can see, feels like this one's not up quite as high, but I can't tell. Maybe it is. Maybe I've improved a little bit. Okay, so then you could do the same thing where you're sliding this one kind of up and down, kind of trying to pull into more range of motion, but be careful with this, that you don't pull too much. And then here. And for the stretches, try to hold 30 seconds. I know I'm not doing that now, but if you're working on these on your own, think about that. Okay, so I'm going to come out of it really slowly, and then as you pull that arm back around, remember, you got to go slow, because those muscles get tight. You might be surprised. So thank you so much. I hope this was helpful with the forearms and the wrist and the shoulder rotator cuff. And so be thinking about that, guys, because a lot of times we don't think about the forearm, and sometimes we don't think about the lower leg. We may think about the calf. We're like, oh yeah, I want, do calf raise or something like that. that we might not be thinking about the tibialis anterior, which is in the front of the leg, or the peroneals, the side of the calf. And the muscles in the front of the lower leg are really important for being able to pick those toes up, okay, as we walk. And so that's something to continue to think about. And then also the fact that maybe these need massaged, maybe you need more range of motion and need to work on flexibility and range of motion in the ankle. And just like the hand, we need to work on these muscles too. So the ankle, obviously circumduction, pronation, supination, lateral flexion, abduction, adduction, and then this is actually plantar flexion and dorsiflexion. So the ankle actually, you're an extension when you're standing. So when the foot is flat on the floor, that is considered extension. With the wrist, when the hands are forward and the arms are just straight, or the hands are straight, that is extension. So the foot will only flex in both directions, and it's plantar flexion pointing the toes, and then dorsiflexion pointing the toe up. So that's a little bit of information there on just joints and how the foot, ankle, and the wrist work and how they're a little bit different. So again, try this out. This is probably my favorite right now. I'm going to get back to doing this a little bit and work on those forearms with this ringing. Or grab you a big towel, guys. Get you a bath towel, wet it down, grab it, and start wringing out that water, and you will get the feeling that I'm feeling right now using this Theraband Flex Bar. But you can check that out. And don't forget the putty. Okay, see the putty? I put it on the lid so you can see it's already, but I'm going to put it back in. So it's kind of like silly putty, really. And it may be, I really don't know. But that's what they use for different types of therapeutics if you've had any kind of hand or wrist injury or something like that. So thanks, guys. I appreciate you so much. Thanks for coming in. And please leave comments on the replay so that I can get back with you and answer any questions that you have. It's Wellness Wednesday. I forgot to say that. So that was part of what I was thinking about with, taking care of the body. And don't forget, if you have problems with the elbow, sometimes working on the forearm will also help that. Okay, I forgot about the elbow, but we've got to think about the muscles that attach to and cross over every joint, and how something in your hand might be coming from your forearm or what have you. So thanks, guys.